Hi kids! Welcome to our mathematics class. Our topic for today is ratio and proportion. I am your Teacher Zaida. So let's define ratio. When we say ratio, this is simply comparison of two quantities. Okay? So for example, let's read the sentence. Aling Tending cooked 3 eggs and 6 hot dogs for breakfast. Okay, let's visualize the ratio in this sentence. So again, we have 3 eggs and 6 hot dogs. Okay, let's see the ratio of what Aling Tending cooked. So again, we have 3 eggs and 6 hot dogs. So that's 3 and 6. To write this in ratio or to compare the number of eggs to the number of hot dogs, we just write it this way, and this is called the column. Okay? Or we just write it this way, and this is called the fraction form. Both are read as 3:6. Okay? Again, both are read as 3:6. Okay? Okay, now, ratio must be expressed in simplest form. So again, if we have 3 eggs and 6 hot dogs, that means we have 1 egg for every 2 hot dogs. Okay? So if we have 1 egg for every 2 hot dogs, then our simplest form of the ratio is 1:2. Okay? And this is again the column form. This is the fraction form. Again, both are read as 1:2. Again, both are read as 1:2. Okay? Or, just simplify the ratio by dividing the terms by their GCF. Okay? So again, if we have the ratio 3:6, and our terms are 3 and 6, we get the GCF of 3 and 6. Okay? Since the GCF of 3 and 6 is 3, let's divide the terms by 3. Okay? So let's divide 3 by 3 and 6 by 3. So we'll get 1:2. Okay? So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So our simplest form is 1:2. Did you get that? Okay, very good. Okay, now let's move on to proportion. When we say proportion, it is a comparison of two equal ratios. Again, for it to be a proportion, the ratios must be equal. Okay? Okay, let's have this proportion. 3:6 is equal to 1:2. The terms inside our proportion are called the means, and the terms outside our proportion are called the extremes. Okay? So again, the terms inside the proportion are the means, and the terms outside are called the extremes. Okay? Now, two ratios are equal if the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. Again, two ratios are equal if the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. Did you get that? Okay, good job. Okay, now since 3:6 is equal to 1:2, wherein the product of the means, 6 times 1 is 6, and the product of the extremes, 3 times 2, is equal to 6, then 3:6 and 1:2 are equal ratio. Thus, 3:6 is equal to 1:2 is proportion. Okay? Okay, now, we can also find the value of the missing term in a proportion. And how do we do that? To find the missing term in a proportion, we just follow the rule. The product of the means must be equal to the product of the extremes. Again, the product of the means, or the terms inside the proportion, must be equal to the product of the extremes, or the terms outside the proportion. Okay, for example, let's have 4:5 is equal to n:15. So again, we just get the product of the means and the product of the extremes. And for this to be a proportion, those products must be equal. Okay, so let's multiply the means. We have 5 and n, and that will give us 5n. Okay, we get the product of the extremes, 4 and 15, and that will give us 60. Okay, so if the product of the means and the product of the extremes are equal, we will have 5n is equal to 60. Okay, now to get the value of n, we just divide both sides by 5. Okay, so 5n divided by 5 and 60 divided by 5. And then we just cancel 5 here. So we have n is equal to 60 over 5. Okay, now if we divide 60 by 5, our n is equal to 5. Okay, so again, the value of n is equal to 12. Did you get that? Okay. Okay, now to check if our answer is correct, we just change n to the value that we were able to get, okay? So we have now 4:5 is equal to 12:15, okay? And then we get the product of the means. 5 times 12 is equal to 60. And then we get the product of the extremes. 4 times 15 is equal to 60. So since 60 is equal to 60, then we have a proportion and the value of n, which is 12, is correct. Okay, did you get that? Okay, good job. Okay, I hope that you were able to understand our lesson and is now ready to answer our module. Okay, until next time, goodbye.